I saw an absolute banger of a film this week. Actually, before I say that, I started, because thanks to Biggie, I started playing Fallout 3 again, reignited my love for Fallout.
Yeah.
Already been to Megaton, been fucked over by that guy at the bar. Been great. But anyway, the main thing, I went to see Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I'm so glad I got that title right. I was worried. But the title really it's an accurate description of what the film is, basically.
What is it?
Yeah, well, I'm still wondering myself. So it's written by Dan Kwan and Daniel Schinert. Sorry if I got that wrong. The Daniels, exactly. So they're the writers responsible for Swiss Army Man, which we also mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think. So it stars Michelle Yeoh, known for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Jamie Lee Curtis, needs no introduction really, Kehoe Kwan, who played Short Round in Indiana Jones, and James Hong, who's been acting since the 50s. He's back, baby.
He's back, baby.
But yeah,
from the Temple of Doom.
So he's more recent. This is going back to James Hong. He's more recently been in Turning Red, Kung Fu Panda, R.I.P.D. and Big Trouble in Little China, most importantly.
Great film, that R.I.P.D.
It's worth noting, actually, that this is Kehoe Kwan's first acting role since his roles in The Goonies and Indiana Jones and as a kid. He left acting.
Is he still... Does he? What was that thing he did in? Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. Ignore me.
So
it was going to be funny, but it's not him.
You should have said it. It would have been more funny.
No.
He left acting due to there just not being enough opportunities for Asian actors at the time, and it's just such an amazing comeback for him. You'd never know that he hadn't acted in the 30-odd years. I will say, though, his voice is exactly the same as you remember it from Indiana Jones.
What, like a small child?
It's literally like a small child. I was taken aback.
I heard an interview with him, and it's just like, you can just tell that's him.
Even
though he's like 50 now. Yeah. Yeah, he's worked in the industry. He's stayed in the industry, done a lot of stuff behind the scenes as stunt coordinator.
Still got a trench coat on with a boxing glove underneath it.
Yeah, he keeps it on him all times.
Keeps it on. Just in case.
So the story of everything revolves around a Chinese family. They own a laundromat, and they live above it. So and they're currently being audited by the IRS. Michelle Yeoh plays Evelyn Kwan, and she's the main character, and she's actually quite sort of a flawed woman herself. She's the head of the family. They're in the marriage is sort of in the middle of a breakdown, struggling to connect with their daughter, and also struggling to deal with the arrival of her father, who's there for Chinese New Year, and he's somewhat kind of disapproving of her life choices, and of course they're being audited. So the IRS, which I should mention, it's the American version of HMRC, if you don't know. So sometimes they'll randomly audit a company, but usually it's because the tax returns don't add up, or there's seemingly something suspicious. So they're under a super stressful situation. And I don't know if that turns it into a horror movie for some. That certainly sent chills up my spine. But Jamie Lee Curtis...
had that done to me. That's a separate story.
No, thank you. Oh, I dread that. But anyway, Jamie Lee Curtis, absolutely amazing as always. So she plays the IRS officer that's dealing with Kwan's case. And it's on the way to this meeting with her character that a multiversal element kicks in. And I'd like to say, and then chaos ensues, but this is about 15 levels more chaotic than that. Like I said before, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is literally the perfect title for this film. I wouldn't even know how to describe or to plate it into a genre, because it's equal parts kind of kung fu, sci-fi, and also a family drama. And it's just such an original, it's such an original concept and story. The way they tackle the multiverse story from the get-go is fun, especially how they have to get from A to B. But behind all that, it's like no emotion is left unturned. It's hilariously funny at 1 minute, and then the next scene it will be like super moving, especially in like the relationship between Evelyn and her daughter. The choreography in the fight scenes as well. Yes, there's fight scenes too. It's just immense, and actually it reminds me of some of the Jackie Chan movies where they actually get the props involved and just kick up chairs and throw them and all sorts.
Michelle Yeoh's been doing it for years. She's awesome
Crouching
if
Tiger
she's,
and everything.
Still doing it. Even
And
before
she's
that, she worked
not-
with Jackie Chan before. She's
Yeah.
really good.
Even now, she does not miss a beat. That you would never know that she's what you. Well, I mean, she's not an old actress, but by Hollywood standards, she's just absolutely incredible. Even Jamie Lee Curtis gets stuck into the fighting as well, which is
Wow.
interesting to see, but cool. She doesn't hold back either.
Taken down Michael Myers multiple times.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That's a different style of fighting.
Has she though? Has she though?
Has she though?
That's more long distance running over the amount of films that she's done. Surely.
Yeah.
She was badass in True Lies. Apart from when she,
we know she's got
dancing
good
and she
cardio.
falls over.
But yeah, no. Oh god. So I mentioned props being used. There's one scene in particular where a certain prop is used. It was actually sort of mentioned. It was focused on at the beginning of the film. I won't say what it is because, yikes. But if you go and see it, you'll know what scene it is.
Is it a dildo?
I'm not saying. No,
It's a dildo, guys.
not a dildo. But I've seen reviews say it's kind of like a scene from Jackass, and I can see why that comparison is made. Put it that way. Actually, now I come to mention it, it's one of the few films I've seen where people have actually walked out. There was a couple that left actually maybe 10 minutes before that particular scene, and thank God they did, really. I'm not really sure what kind of film they were expecting, but evidently this was not it. I have seen it compared to The Matrix, so I can't actually see that comparison myself. But maybe that's what they went in thinking they were going to get, and it was really not that at all.
That's their inspiration. Matrix,
Oh.
the Fight Club. Yeah, they said that they were just watching late 90s films that they loved and came up with an idea. It's kind of based on the Matrix. I think it comes from the point of where she's told to choose a path, go that way, and you'll just carry on, go that way, and in the setup, so that's kind of apparently where it comes from. I know very
Even
little.
then,
Obviously, I've not seen it yet, but it's just from the interviews and other podcasts I've listened.
There's nothing wrong with it though if they do it right, is there?
Oh, absolutely not.
No,
But I just think if maybe too much focus has been put on it being the next Matrix or something, maybe that's the reason why these people didn't get the film they were expecting. So,
Yeah.
don't go in there thinking it's the next Matrix. It's certainly nothing like Doctor Strange either, even though obviously it still deals with the multiversal stuff.
Does it handle the multiverse better than Doctor Strange?
I think you would think so, yeah.
Good.
It's such a, you can't even compare the two, really. They're just, it's chalk and cheese. You can't compare it at all. So other than that, my only criticism really, I've noticed this has been a gripe of mine quite a lot recently, so I don't know if this is actually a me problem, but I think it was probably a little bit long. It could have been shorter towards the end. There's one scene that outstayed its welcome by about 10 minutes, I think. But yeah, really loved it. Evidently, it's not for everyone, but I'd say just go in with an open mind and no preconceived ideas of what you think it is. It's actually a really heartwarming story once you get past the multiverse and the kung fu and the googly eyes. There's lots of googly eyes.
Sausage fingers.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention
Sausage
that. but
fingers.
Yeah, sausage fingers.
That's in the posters. Don't worry about
Oh, is
Yeah.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
That's what I used
So,
to call
yeah.
my uncle.
that.
Uncle
I am-
Sausage Fingers will enjoy it.
I am desperate to see this film, and I based purely on word of mouth and what everyone I know said about it from other podcasts, from people I know that are friends who like love going to the cinema and stuff. It's already in IMDb's top 250. It's the highest ranked film on Letterboxd of all time.
It's got like 98% on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes as
I
well.
am-
It's crazy.
I'm going to make time this next week to see it. 'Cause I need to see
I was
it.
the same as you. I just went in purely on word of mouth, but it's on limited release at the moment. So from what I've heard, they are actually going to be releasing it a bit in more and more theaters as the time goes on. But I'm not really sure exactly. That's because we were lucky actually. It was just by pure chance I saw that it was on. I was just checking what was on this week, and they had one showing on Tuesday night, so we went to see it, and actually we almost didn't get to see it then because this is the first time this has ever happened when I went to a cinema. We sat down, and one of the members of staff kind of shuffled in looking a bit suspicious and said that they'd
They
somehow
always
managed.
do in cinemas.
shuffling, suspicious looking. But they somehow managed to break the film. And so we had to wait an extra 90 minutes. So it didn't actually start till about 9. So,
90 minutes?
Yep.
No wonder you thought it was long.
I'd have fucking gone home.
That was an option, but we couldn't be asked. We got free snacks out of it, though.
90 minutes?
Free snacks and
snacks,
drinks.
though.
Anyway, the point is...
Free snacks, no problem.
The point is, it didn't start till about 9 o'clock, so we were already pretty frazzled. Like, we were already on a bit of a sugar crash at that point.
I thought you were come down because you've been popping ecstasy before the show. And it's kicked
Not
in
this
early.
time. No, that doesn't go well with the cinema. I prefer to disco on that. But yeah, if I can watch it at 9 o'clock at night on a sugar crash and still really, really enjoy it, you probably will too.
Yeah.